Hello everyone, welcome to Redbust US channel. In this video, we'll look at the recent HR 1044 bill that was passed in Senate, which is also called S386. So we'll look at various paths for it to become law. We'll look at the chances and what are the hurdles that are out there for this bill. So this is what we'll cover. We'll look at the background. We'll look at the summary of where it stands today and the potential paths for it to become law. There are few paths for it, but we'll look at all of them and also hurdles. So this is what you see on the bill on congress.gov, HR 1044, Fairness for High Skilled Immigrants Act of 2020. And as you can see, it is passed Senate in terms of the status. And this is a brief snapshot of the first page, right, which shows that it's been passed with amendments. Now, before we get into the specifics of HR 1044, let's quickly look at how a bill becomes law in the US, right? So in general, many countries are called in different ways, but so it's also called Parliament. In US, this is called US Congress. So Congress has two chambers. One is Senate and the other one is House. So depending on the kind of bill, some of them originate in House and some of them originate in Senate. But pretty much both of them have the same process for it to be passed. The key requirement for a bill is that it has to be passed in the same form and same text in both. It has to be passed in the same form in both the chambers. So if there are some discrepancies or deviations in from one of the chambers, then it has to be approved by the other as well. So it's very, very important. Then only it goes to the president. Now, in terms of the entire process, we look at a situation, where the bill originated in House. And the reason for taking this scenario is because HR 1044 originally, the one that is currently in process, originated in House. So as you can see, HR, there are two chambers. You have House and Senate, and in the House there are various processes when a bill comes in, right? So it typically goes through a committee, subcommittee. There are hearings and debates, and then comes the voting. It goes into the calendar, and there is a debate on the House floor. Then it goes to voting, and if it passes the vote, then the bill gets engrossed. So this is what a typical process is. In interest of time, we won't dive into the details, but all in all, so this is what happens in the House, right? Once the bill is engrossed, then it actually goes to the Senate to be again voted and passed, right? So also Senate has similar process. All whatever you see on the House side, we also have similar process, but there are some deviations or some intricacies here, but we won't get into those details. But all in all, if it passes the Senate in the same form, then what happens is it goes to the president for signing. What could happen is, let's say there are some changes that happen in Senate, then that has to go back to the House because it changed. And then it again, if it passes through the House, then it can go to the president. So this is one scenario. The other scenario is, let's say, there are way too many changes and they don't want to go back and forth. In that context, there could be a temporary committee called conference committee that forms. And in that, they actually, hammer out the details of, so that both the, leaders in both of these chambers agree on some text. And then they send that text to both the chambers, and then it passes, let's say it passes both of them, then it actually goes to the president for signing, and once the president signs, then it becomes a law. Of course, I'm oversimplifying the entire process, but this is on a very high level how the whole process looks like. Now let's look at the HR 1044 and S386 current status, right? So what happened with Bill HR 1044 S386 are there are two bills that were introduced in parallel. One was in House HR 1044, another one was in Senate S386. So what happened was it went through the process in the House, and both of them started at the same time. So there were processes going on in both of these chambers, but the House actually took action faster, and they passed the bill HR 1044, and then they sent it to Senate. In the meantime, there were some discussions happening in Senate, and there were some holds and all sorts of things, right? But eventually, there were a lot of so many people know the bill as S386 because there were all the amendments that were done to S386. And eventually, right? As it stands today, or whatever changes that were added to S386 are all added to HR 1044. Because the reason is HR 1044 already passed. They want to take that as a basis, and they've actually taken that bill and amended that bill to have all the amendments or all the changes that were in S386, and it was passed in Senate as HR 1044. So that's why people refer to both of these. So it doesn't matter. Bottom line is currently HR 1044 is the one that's passed. Now where it stands is it has actually passed the Senate with all these changes, and now it's actually HR 1044 that is sitting out there. Now this is where it stands today, right? Now we will look at now what happens in various scenarios, right? So we'll look at the first scenario, which is basically the best path, right? That is possible, the option number one. So in option number one, what could happen is, now that it's sitting in the with all these amendments, it could be sent directly to House, the way it exists now, and the House takes it up and passes the bill. And then if the bill is passed in the House without any changes, then it goes to the president for signing. So this is the best path scenario, and if the president signs, then it becomes a law. But the odds of it going all the way through without any changes can be tricky, because there are some important clauses that have been added, and there could be some hesitance on on those language. So we'll look at that in the end. But bottom line is, this is the best path, but there are a lot of challenges here, because due to time, and the changes are also very, very significant. Yeah. So the second path we'll look at is the second option, right? One is, again, in this option two, the bill basically comes to the House, but they make changes in the House, right? Because they wanted to remove certain language, be it some changes related to H1B, some changes related to the Chinese Military Association Act, any of these, right? Let's say they do these changes, then all of that changes again have to go back to the Senate and pass in the same form. So in that case, so this whatever passed through the House then goes to the Senate, and then Senate actually passes that in that same form, and then it comes to president, and then it becomes a law. So the challenge with this option 2 is, there are a lot of steps here, right? I mean, the time is very, very limited. We'll come to that in a minute. Due to the shortage of time, this is going back and forth could be a big problem. And again, all the changes may or may not be accepted by Senate, because they sent with certain changes. So this is a very difficult option, and I don't see this happening, going back and forth in the short amount of time. So the other option is option number 3, right? So the option number 3 is basically there is a committee that is temporarily formed, as we looked in the beginning. It's called a conference committee. It's a temporary committee where you have people from both of the chambers, right, House and Senate, where they sit together and actually chalk out the details and come up with a common piece of text that both of the lead chambers can agree to. And that common legislation can be sent across to both of these houses, and then it actually passes both of them in the same form, and then actually it goes to the president, and then it becomes law. So this is one of the options. This is a potential option, but again, the time is also limited here. The challenge is the time to form a committee and all of this, getting all of them on the it's a very tricky situation. But this is one of the potential solutions, and could be quite workable, right? This is one of the workable solutions as well. Now the last option is option number 4. In this situation, what could happen is this is we have an omnibus bill. Omnibus bill is nothing but a large spending bill where all these federal agencies get funding. So all of these so this gets HR 1044 gets added to this omnibus bill. But the challenge with this is we'll look at the details. But the omnibus bill has certain restrictions, and you can't put everything in omnibus bill. Sometimes you may not be able to add these medical related medical related provisions that are in there. So sometimes omnibus bills are actually spending bills that are large funding these agencies. So it's a hit and a miss, right? So there the good part is in recent times, the omnibus bill that was passed recently, the premium processing fee was increased, and also they added up this premium processing for H4 and H4 EAD, and also other EADs and other aspects, right? So this was a part done as part of an omnibus bill. So the odds of this getting added it's a possibility, but there are some challenges, because nobody wants, because it's a spending bill, there are many agencies, and adding this immigration to that could be tricky. So some people may agree or may not agree. So again, it depends on how they navigate these, right? So this is also one of the best possible options, right? So option number 4, if it gets added to this omnibus bill with some deviations here and there, maybe 1 or 2 changes, then this is also a very, very good path to pass this, right? So once it adds to that, then it actually goes all the way through, and then it comes to the president, and of course president can veto this as well. This is also a possibility, right, in this option. So this is also a possibility. If the president signs, then it becomes a law. Now, the trick with all of these options, there are hurdles in all of them, right? So one of the biggest hurdle is the volume of changes. The original bill had only 7 pages. The bill passed in Senate has 36 pages. There's about 29 pages that are added as amendments. Of course, the size of the pages may or may not matter, but the changes that are added are very significant. So this was not the case, when it is in the House. Now, in terms of H-1B, so what are the things that could be another hurdles, all right? H-1B provisions, right? So there are many H-1B provisions that are added. So all of them require more compliance, on terms of employer or the process in the LCA process. They have to create a lot of website, post the jobs. So there are quite a few H-1B provisions that are added in that. And also there is a 50-50 rule. If an employer has 50 or more employees in the US, and there are some of H-1B and L-1 holders cannot be more than 50%. Yeah. So this for new H-1Bs, right? You can do transfers. So this is also one of the contention rules as well. So all of these H-1B provisions that are added are not very friendly for IT outsourcing companies, yeah, and or IT body shop companies that are impacted. So they can lobby, to actually get this, get these provisions out of it. So this is one possibility. But of course, these are all possibilities, right? So the second the other potential hurdle is it could be that somebody could come in and say the language that they added for Chinese Communist Party Military Association is DHS would not approve adjustment of status or grant entry for anyone associated with the Chinese Communist Party or military, right? So there are no clear guidelines given to this, and on average, I think as I was reading somewhere, about 100 million people are enrolled in this because when they're in college, it's a common thing. So they may or may not be closely associated. So there is no clear guidance here, and so that's why some people may oppose this because it could be targeted. People from China could be targeted that they've been associated. So it's kind of very gray area. So I think they want to change the language of how this could look like. But of course, Senate could actually oppose some of these changes, right? So again, this is another contention point as well. But if you look at it, the biggest one is short on time, right? So there is limited time for negotiations, and currently as it stands today, it's not on the House calendar yet. So this is the House calendar that you can check on the docs.house.gov, and as you can see, there is nothing on the calendar yet. But again, we have to also realize that the HR 1044 was not on calendar on Senate, even 1 or 2 days before, and it was passed in time, right? So again, so it's possible that it could be added on the calendar, but the time is very, very limited. So that's one big challenge, right? So the other challenge I see is the next year calendar, 117th Congress. It's going to be starting on Jan 3rd of 2021. So as you can see on the screen, this is a typical calendar of, a year, as you can see. So the begin date for 116th was on Jan 3rd. So, and it could end, end of December. So if you can see the December dates, they're all December 18th. Some of them are in early Jan, some of them are in end of December. So it could fluctuate. So we don't know. The start date always is in the first week. So this is a slightly tricky situation. If it doesn't get passed before they go for break in December, it's going to be a very, very hard thing here. And these sessions are called lame duck sessions. The reason is, the term is coined because there is no full accountability for this Congress because there is new administrators coming in and the Congress is closing. So these are not really, considered as a lame duck sessions, right? So some of the big bills get passed in this because because they're lame duck sessions, So the challenges or the chances are all dependent on the floor calendar, when it comes to the floor calendar and the omnibus bill, if they let it beyond that, that's a big one. So the chances for this passing in this year is very, very tricky. Anything can happen, because all we need is go into House and if it comes onto the calendar and they say yes, and you need a simple majority and it can pass. So the chances are it's very hard to say. Anything can happen. The time is limited. So we'll have to see how this pans out. But this is the farthest this bill has come. Something like this. So it's going to be a very difficult thing for many people who worked to get this bill to this far. So we'll have to wait and see. So let me know what you think of this in the comments. So we'll take it up the conversation there. Again, thank you for watching. Do subscribe for getting regular updates. We'll keep you posted on how it goes.